reported seeing him struggling in the water. His kayak was found. His body remains missing.
On a very basic level, the Trump administration's termination of Aaron's status was illegal.
Now at 5, an Oregon State University student joining others nationwide in suing the Trump administration for revoking their student visas. The student in this particular case is being represented by the ACLU of Oregon and other law firms. They say he's done nothing wrong. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
I'm Deborah Knapp. This student is one of 13 at OSU who have lost their visas. K2's Christina Giardinelli is live at the OSU Portland Center. Christina, his lawyers say he has never been charged with a crime or even received a fine.
Yeah, Deb, I asked them if they believe this could be related to a protest the student attended or anything like that. They say that's not the case, and they believe these revocations are happening for no apparent reason. Now, in the past, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that these revocations are happening because of actions the students have taken that are contrary to the U.S. interests, like Gaza protests. An Oregon State University student suing the Trump administration, ICE, and the Department of Homeland Security, claiming they revoked his student visa for no reason. Ortega Gonzalez is a PhD student researching the impacts of wildfire.
His research focuses on restoring rangeland in Oregon.
Kelsey Provo is his lawyer with Innovation Law Lab. She says the lawsuit is an attempt to reinstate his visa and stop him from risking deportation.
Recently, without notice, the government unilaterally terminated Aaron's authorization to study and work on his research. So we are suing to find out why the government terminated Aaron's status and to protect Aaron's due process rights because the government hasn't communicated with him regarding the termination.
Provo's firm is joining the ACLU of Oregon and Nelson Smith LLP in the lawsuit. She says Ortega Gonzalez has never been charged with a crime or even received a fine or parking ticket. Other students with revoked visas nationally were targeted because of protests they attended, but Provo says that's not the case here.
It was a surprise to the state, to the university, and they were the ones that let Aaron know. And as of the date Aaron found out about the termination of his status, he has had to stop going to school because he no longer has tuition support.
She says the lawsuit may help protect other students with revoked visas realize they have options.
We are hoping that this lawsuit can protect Aaron, and we're also hoping we can protect other students in our state.
Now, we reached out to the local ICE office. They say they do not comment on pending litigation. I also reached out to Oregon State University, but no one was available for an interview today. Instead, they sent me a letter that was sent to students and professors on campus last week. You can find that full letter on our website right now at k2.com. For now, live in Northwest Portland, Christina Giardinelli, K2 News.
Christina, thank you. Students and recent grads in both Oregon and Washington have seen their visas revoked. Here's a look at the latest numbers based on our reporting. In Oregon, at least 13 students have lost their visas at Oregon State, at least 4 at the U of O, and at least 3 at Portland State, at least 3 at Portland Community College. In Washington, at least 20 students have lost their visas at the University of Washington, according to Inside Higher Ed, at least 2 from UW-Tacoma, and at least 3 from Seattle University. At least 3 from Washington State, and at least 2 from Gonzaga.
Here's a look at a map of revocations nationwide from Inside Higher Ed. They've identified over 1,400 international students and recent grads who've had their legal status changed by the State Department. As you heard Christina mention, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said the department is revoking visas held by visitors acting counter to national interests, including some who protested Israel's war in Gaza, or those who face criminal charges. He said this last week.
If you come to this country as a student, we expect you to go to class and study and get a degree. If you come here to vandalize a library, take over a campus, and do all kinds of crazy things, we're going to get rid of these people, and we're going to continue to do it. So when we identify lunatics like these, we take away their student visa. No one's entitled to a student visa. The press covers student visas like there's some sort of birthright. No, a student visa is like me inviting you into my home. If you come into my home and put all kinds of crap on my couch, I'm going to kick you out of my house. And
But like the OSU student Christina mentioned, some students argue they're not protesters or criminals. A lawsuit filed in Georgia alleges traffic stops and dismissed cases were used as justification in some cases. Many students are from India and China, though the terminations have not been limited to any one part of the world. Stick with Katu for continuing coverage on this. When we're not on air, you can find the updates on KATU.com or social media pages.